What's up, YouTube? It has been a long hiatus, a long hibernation, but Double D Card Talk is back with a vengeance. I think it's been 16, 17 months, something like that, since we made an episode, but we hope to continue to make some episodes in 2021, and we're going to start off with a very interesting video. We're going to be juxtaposing some very, very, very expensive modern cards from the last few years next to some very, very old cards that are somewhat affordable. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some very cool cards. And first I'm going to send it off to my partner in crime, B-side, Dustin Bellinger, and he's going to talk about some of those old school cards. We're talking pre-war stuff that won't quite break the bank.
Thanks, DA, and it's great to be talking to everybody in another Double D's Card Talk episode. Anyway, we all know prices have been on the rise lately. Things are and continue to be escalating, and it's not just modern, it's definitely affecting the vintage area as well. And it's a sliding scale. Some areas are impacted more than others, but you are seeing a general increase in all of your price points as things continue to go up. However, I kind of wanted to show a few things that I think are still some good values out there to be had. And so what I was going to show you here first is a couple things that I found in cards that would be over 100 years old and less than $100. And for that area, I was trying to concentrate on what I feel are the most popular sets from that era, which would be T206, T205, and I guess E90 as being one of the more popular brands. You call that a brand, but those issues are the most popular. So those are going to be kind of, if you're collecting pre-war in that era, those are kind of your blue chip stocks. Now, obviously, Hall of Famers, commons, there's still a caste system involved there. But I'm showing you here there's certainly some Hall of Famers that could be had. Also some stars of the time period, such as Hal Chase. And then, a couple of cards that I just think had great eye appeal. And, could be had for, all in that under $100 price point. For the most part, these all sold on eBay recently in that $80 to $100 range. A couple of them, may have sold a little bit less than that, but for the most part, these were all in that range. And, as you can see, if you're looking at Hall of Famers, you're going to be, in seriously limited as far as your condition sensitivity. You're not going to be getting, mid-grade examples in that $100 price point on these issues. Even if they're the lesser Hall of Famers. So you've really got to kind of be selective here on what your budget is on those. But where I would just kind of arbitrarily chose $100. This kind of gives you an example of what you can find out there if you're actively looking. Now, next I did, hey, let's look at 80 years old and under $80. And so once again, I'm going with, the blue chip sets from that era, which is the 33 and 34 Gaudies, and I would say the 34 to 36 Diamond Stars. Those tend to be the most popular, most readily available, and most collectible sets from that era. And once again, if you're looking at Hall of Famers, you're going to have to take some condition issues along with it to stay in that budget area. And the top guys from the set probably won't be available to you at all, but you can get a lot of Hall of Famers and certainly some other stars of the day, all in those price points that are really some really nice and attractive cards, and are from sets that are really recognizable, very popular. So if you ever decide that you're ready to check out, these are the types of sets that if you're collecting, it tends to be pretty easy to unload them. Whereas if you collect something that's a little bit more rare, more exotic, maybe a little less mainstream, you may get a better value for your money, but sometimes it's harder to unload those and recoup your money, because you have to shop around more for the buyers that are into that item and appreciate what the real value is based on scarcity and that. Now, I also am showing a couple of cards in here that I think, hey, if you were wanting to venture just away from the major goodie issues, there's a couple of premiums in there from 1939 that are amazing. And also, there's a Mickey Cochran premium that sold for around $70 that is just unbelievably, I think, was an unreal value. I'm sorry I missed out on that, because I guarantee you it would have sold for more if I had seen it, because I would have been bidding on that. Then last, I said, hey, let's look at 50 years under $50. And so, just, some of your more popular tops and Bowman sets from, the 1950s and 1960s, really. So, that's actually, a bit more than 50 years old. But once again, I think these are the sets and the types of cards that, you can get at a relatively low value, but you can, if you decide you're bailing out on cards, or things come up, these are also cards that you'll be able to unload rather quickly, and you really won't have to worry too much about getting what you have invested into them. So, hey, thanks for listening to this. I'm going to kick it back to DA for a little more talk on what's going on in the modern card market.
Thanks, Dustin. Very interesting stuff and some really, really cool cards. Now, I'm about to talk about 5 cards that I picked out that pretty well represent this modern price explosion and grading explosion and what have you. Now, there are plenty of other cards that would have fit great into this, like the Fernando Tatis Jr. rookie card, Luis Robert rookie card, what have you. But I picked out 5 that I think are pretty good representatives, and I'll talk about their prices and their PSA populations. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the 2018 Topps Chrome Juan Soto, Topps Chrome Update Juan Soto. Now, in a PSA 10, that's going to sell for around $450 the last time I looked. Now, the population on that, 9,106 of them have been graded by PSA, and 8,356 of them got a Gem Mint 10. Now, that is a crazy high percentage of Gem Mint 10s, but the card sells for $450. The next one is even crazier, in my opinion, the 2019 Prism Zion Williamson. In a PSA 10, that's going to get you $700 to $750. If you're lucky enough to have the silver hollow, a PSA 10 of that is going to fetch you more than $4,000. Here's the crazy part. Just by PSA alone, 27,016 have been graded. 14,729 of them have gotten a Gem Mint 10. Who knows how many were graded by Beckett? And I'm sure a handful were graded by SGC. So that's just nuts that there's that many of them out there. And 14,729 PSA 10s, but they still fetch you $700 to $750. Up next, 2018 Donruss Optic Luka Doncic And that one sells for $700 to $800 for a Gem Mint 10. There have been 7,612 of them graded, and 3,377 of them got a PSA 10. How about short prints? How about the 2018 Topps Bat Down Ronald Acuna short print? Now, if you get that at PSA 10, it's going to get you over $2,000. Now, yes, it is short print, and yes, the pops are way lower than these other cards I'm speaking of, but there's still nearly 1,300 of them graded by PSA, with 445 of them getting Gem Mint 10s. Now, what constitutes a short print? I don't know, but that seems like a lot to me for a short print. Finally, the 2017 Donruss Optic Pat Mahomes, and that one in a Gem Mint 10 will sell for over $2,000, with 4,189 of them graded. 2,649 got a Gem Mint 10. All that's very crazy to me. I mean, all these players are great players, and Mahomes and Luka, they're very well established. But you never know what could happen. You know, somebody could get hurt. Maybe they fizzle out a little bit, and Juan Soto becomes more of a Chris Bryant type player, and the prices are going to fall out. And to me, I mean, even if Patrick Mahomes is the next Tom Brady, he doesn't have the he has way more rookie cards than Tom Brady has, and in a time when everyone's sending their cards off to PSA to get slabbed, and it's just, I just don't understand it. I mean, how can these cards maintain these prices? I don't know. Probably they won't. But next, I'm going to send it back to B-Side, and he's going to talk about some more old cards.
Thanks again, DA. And so for this last segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about areas where I feel there's some value to be had there in, you know, if you're trying to add to your collection, and maybe you're looking for, you know, one of those major Hall of Famers, you know, those top shelf guys, and you just don't have the money to spend for some of their traditional issues. An area that I think you can look at and, you know, capitalize on some value is game cards. A lot of times these were issued in decks, and they're tend to be, you know, readily available. There's several that are out there that are readily available. A lot of times there's, you know, you can get a really nice example of, you know, a major Hall of Famer or a top star, and it's going to be significantly less than what you would pay for a comparable, you know, mainstream card issue from that same area. You know, a couple examples that I would talk about here from the pre-war era, early 1900s fan craze, and there is National Game and Tom Barker, and also Polo Grounds. All of those, you know, have, you know, major stars, you know, and they give you a chance. You know, you're going to have to pay up for them, you know, when you're going for a Ty Cobb or you want a Joe Jackson, you're still going to have to pay up. But, you know, the price point on a card from those card games, you know, and especially when you consider comparable condition issues, you know, matching grade for grade, the price that you're paying is going to be, you know, significantly less. So definitely something to consider there. In the 30s, another one that I recommend is SNS Card Game. It's another one that I think provides a real excellent value. A lot of these have rounded corners, so that really kind of helps out with the condition issues. You never really have to worry too much about, oh, a really bad dinged corner, because they're all rounded to begin with, so the wear doesn't show nearly as badly, and it gives a more eye appealing experience, even if the card does have a little chipping or some wear, than it does when you have a bad corner with those straight square corners. Now, in a little bit more recent, 1968 Topps game is another one that definitely provides some value to get some of those major stars from that era. Certainly give you some better options there. Those have a lot of centering issues, so if you're really focused on centering, those can be challenging to find one that matches what you want from an eye appeal standpoint. But other than that, there's just a lot of value to be had there. So definitely something I recommend. If you're looking to find top tier guys from all the various eras in vintage baseball, those are a good place to start, to look for making that acquisition that's not gonna break you, or maybe you're priced out of completely. So obviously, I'm not saying, hey, they're cheap and you can get anybody for $60. That's not the case. But if you go in there and you look and you price those, you'll definitely see there's a savings to be had if you want to go that route. All right, thanks to everybody for listening, and I'll kick it back off to DA to close this out.
Well, thanks, DB. That's some really cool stuff. Very interesting. I do love those game cards. But what I'm going to talk about now is some modern cards that have sold for a crazy amount of money in the very recent months. And we're talking for like more than my house type of money. And what I did is I went on to eBay and I went on to sports trading cards category and sorted by highest price. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, the majority of the cards that sold for over $100,000 were modern cards. We're talking 2000s and newer. And most of the ones that weren't modern cards were Michael Jordan rookies. So I'm going to show you a few of these and talk about their price and how crazy they are. So the first one up is a 2018-19 Luka National Treasures RPA, and that's numbered out of 99 in a BGS 9 with the Auto 10 grade. And that card sold for $300,000. That's mind-boggling, especially that one's numbered out of 99. I didn't check the pop on any of these, so I don't know if there's more than one card graded that way or what, but $300,000, that's crazy. Up next, we have a 2016 Select XRC of Patrick Mahomes, and that's in a BGS 10 black label. A not numbered card. This is a Prism version, and this card sold for $200,000. Up next, a 2019-20 National Treasure Ja Morant Stars and Stripes auto out of 30 in a BGS 9, sold for $180,000. And then we have a 2017 Flawless Patrick Mahomes RPA, numbered out of 25 in a PSA 10, and that card sold for $152,000. Now those are crazy. Now B-Side and I, we're more baseball collectors than anything else, so I want to take a look at some baseball cards, and I was kind of surprised that the highest selling in the most recent months was a 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson in a PSA 10, and that card sold for $78,900. The next highest one was a 2020 Bowman Platinum Parallel 1/1 of Randy Arozarena in a BGS 9.5, and that card sold for $60,000. Now this, we're talking about, it's a 1/1, yes, but it is manufactured rarity, and we're talking about a player who maybe played really well for like a month, and that's one of the highest selling baseball cards. So that's just crazy. Like, so what do we do with all this stuff? Oh, by the way, comment down below. Comment down below. Would you rather have the 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson or the 2020 Bowman Platinum Parallel 101 of Randy Arozarena? Comment down below. Well, anyways, with all this stuff that we've talked about of crazy modern prices, what do we do? What do you do if you're a modern collector? What are your options if you don't have $200,000 or whatever, even $200? So my recommendation, if you take a look at some of the Topps brand of cards, and if you take a look at the estimated print runs of each brand and compare it with retail cost per card, you can kind of come up with the best value, the best bang for your buck, the cards least likely to drop and plummet in value, in my opinion. And I don't have the numbers with me, but I did a little bit of research on this. I would suggest getting rookie cards of some of the off brands of Topps, not flagship, not Chrome. Some of your best value is going to come in Stadium Club, Allen and Ginter, and Gypsy Queen. So I recommend buying rookies in those brands. They're going to be a lot more affordable, and I think they're going to hold their value in the long run a lot better. Might even gain ground more eventually in the future. So really, that's all I have for you. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Double D Card Talk. Now, you're going to need to be subscribed to Dustin Bellinger and Dustin and Blake in order to not miss any of these episodes. And if you have any ideas for future episodes or anything that you want us to discuss, please leave a comment down below, and we'll be really happy to see that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.